Today on Hey, We're Talking.
They try to make me go to rehab, but I said no, no, no.
Derek, how old are you? 26? 27? You better be careful.
Oh, cash me outside. Oh my goodness. Oh my. It's us. We're back. Hey, we're talking. It's on the, well, I guess you could be on your radio. Probably most likely your phone or your computer, I guess.
Or your car stereo.
Yeah, if you're Bluetoothing it, or, don't get me started on sync. If you have a Ford vehicle and you use sync, oh my gosh.
I do.
Garbage.
I use that. It's fantastic.
You just have, I think because you haven't, what year is your Ford?
2016.
Oh, okay. So you do have the touchscreen one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you have, you probably have CarPlay on yours then if it's a 16. So you can put Apple CarPlay on it? Like, does your...
Well, I just, I can
just Bluetooth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
All right. Listen, I just
way to open up the show, guys. That's great conversation.
Hey,
it's so different.
One of the times during the show I think it was last week, Derek was just asking us questions about how to fix his son's battery on his iPhone. So I figured open it up a little text. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. It's me, Scotty D, and I got Derek in the great state of Texas, and Bob. He's on the road. He's working.
He is on the road. Yep.
He's
Bob's always.
Yeah, he's got. What are you in the great state of Pennsylvania?
Yep. Outside the Philadelphia area in a town called Westchester.
Ooh, Westchester. That's where Bam Margera lives.
That's what I was thinking.
No, you don't remember Bam?
Who's that?
Bam Margera, dude from Jackass. You don't remember him?
No, I never saw
His best friend died in like a fiery car wreck going really fast in Westchester, PA.
There's some university here. I don't know what it is though.
Fordham? Villanova?
It's not really boring. It's pretty nice area.
Villanova. Villanova won the national championship in basketball.
They're in Westchester?
No, I think they're in the Philadelphia area though.
Well, I'm saying there is a college here in Westchester.
Find out what it is. Look it up on your phone while we're talking.
I am.
It might be Villanova. Maybe it is.
Is it really important?
It's interesting. It adds to the conversation, Derek.
I don't know. I don't really think anybody cares.
Everybody cares because we're talking right now, and they're listening to us talk. So they care. It's entertaining. Isn't that the point of this thing?
Telling everybody our conversation is entertaining you. It is.
I'm forcing them to be entertained. Did you find out what it was, Bob?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, my gosh. Bob can't do all the extra searching and stuff right now because he only has one screen.
Yeah, I've just got one screen. Usually I've got my computer that I do my lookups on, and then I have a screen behind that where you guys are. So, no, it's just Westchester University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, the University of Pennsylvania? Oh, it's like a campus of University of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
At Westchester, not Eastchester.
There's a westchesteruniversity.edu.
Not Southchester.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at. This town's
Bob,
actually
that was so anticlimactic.
Sorry, you just asked. I just said I know there's a college here. That's about all I really know. There's some really awesome restaurants and bars and a couple cigar shops.
What restaurant? Where are you going to go tonight?
I'm going to go to that place I went to last time I was out here called Sidebar. Last time that I was in this area, I got an amazing sandwich. It was 2 apple fritters.
Yes, you took a picture of that.
Surrounded, you put a piece of fried chicken in the middle, and that was really good. So I want to go check out their menu, see what else they got. If they got
what other donut hamburgers they have.
Yeah, that's going to be my dinner tonight.
Was it really good?
It was amazing. I may wind up getting it again, but unless they have some other cool creation on the menu. But
are you going to have a Yingling since you're in Pennsylvania?
No, I'm not really a fan of Yingling.
Really?
Yeah, just I don't know.
That's tragic. This is supposed to be yes and. You should be like, yes, I love Yingling. And let me tell you guys something.
And I'm going to have.
Let me tell you something about apple fritters. Finding a good apple fritter is difficult. Most places make garbage apple fritters.
They're no good.
If you find a good apple fritter, you cherish that fritter.
Well, here's the thing. Find somewhere that's got a chicken sandwich surrounded by apple fritters.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll be.
I get apple fritters from time to time from the Ingles supermarket near here. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not as good. I like them a little I don't want to say crunchy because that makes it sound stale, but they have a little bit of stiffness to them. That's a bad way to
crispy on the outside.
Yes.
Soft and chewy on the inside.
There you go. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because they're deep fried. They're donuts.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
It's a donut.
If you do it right, it's a great donut.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. I don't know where we're going with that, except for to say we're happy you're here. We're talking about what's going on in our lives. I don't know about where you guys are, but I know Bob has been experiencing winter trying to rear its ugly head just a few more times before spring is over.
No, it hasn't gone away. That's the problem.
I think it snowed today, didn't it?
Yeah, it snowed today. When I woke up, it was snowing and 28 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
And that's in April. It's like, come on, man. Second
Dude, we're
week
in mid-April
and,
when we're recording this, and it's snowing in Chicago.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's hitting the Midwest all over the place.
Yeah, Minneapolis area, Minnesota, they got like 10 inches of snow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I cannot wait for it to go away because I want to sit outside and enjoy some warm weather and go fishing, which I cannot wait to do.
You guys were outside though, because I remember one day you were like, I got to sit outside. And you sat out.
Well, it was 75 that day, and then the next day was 40, and then the next day was 30 with snow.
Meanwhile, in Texas, we're experiencing hot weather, high winds, and extreme fire danger weather. Like there was a wildfire just a few miles from here on the road that my parents live on, and like on Friday we had to like rescue kind of rescue my mom from the house because there was a huge fire on the road.
That's wild.
With winds hitting, no kidding, like 50 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts hitting like 60 miles an hour.
That is crazy.
It was crazy.
It's been windy here in South Carolina, but today we dipped down into the high 50s, but it's been like 75, 80 degrees before that. And I think in 2 more days, it'll be back up to 75, 80 degrees. And then we're good. We're good. So there you go. There's your weather report on Hey, We're Talking. All we need now is some traffic reports. Anybody been out on the road today? Bob has.
I was. And
what was the traffic like?
Coming here.
Yeah.
It was terrible. This is serious too. So I'm coming up this road. I don't even know what the heck road it is. And it's under construction. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And I see a truck, coming in the opposite direction, and I see these cars pulling out of this lot. It was like a big, I'm guessing it was shift change at some big warehouse.
Yeah.
So you got cars pulling onto the main street. And one car went as this truck's approaching, and right at the last second, this guy pulls out.
Oh my gosh.
Right in front of the truck. Of course, the truck slams on his brakes and kind of goes off to the right. And luckily, there wasn't an accident. But I'm telling you, a second delay by that truck driver, and that car would have been hit right in the driver's side because he pulled right out in front of the truck. I saw it happening, so I kind of slowed down. I was right behind that, right in front of it, and I just kind of slowed down because I'm like, if that truck does hit that car, it's going to go spinning off basically into me. So I saw it happening. I slowed down, but thank you to all the truckers out there that do the hard work and ship our stuff, because that's a tough thing to do.
Absolutely.
And to deal with people on the road is crazy.
That's why defensive driving is so important, and it doesn't cause more problems than it creates.
You're doing that on purpose. We had a huge discussion in the Hey, We're Talking, I don't even know what to call it anymore.
The social chat
with the people that listen to the show. And Hector, the man that makes the Huib pipes, was talking about traffic and driving, and he was making some observations, and that turned into defensive driving, and as our good friend Naked Cartwheel King put it, offensive driving. Yeah, I would call it aggressive driving, but I contend that when you drive aggressively, you cause less problems than when you drive defensively, because it seems like people that drive defensively cause issues. They cause backups. They cause possible accidents. Yes, they do. It's terrible.
You just need to find that balance between
defensive driving. Like true defensive driving is not the way you're saying it. That's overly cautious.
Like hesitant, cautious driving.
That's not what defensive driving is. Defensive driving is having a little reactionary gap, having a little lag. But I'm a defensive driver, and I punch it when it's time to pass. I don't hesitate, but I just give myself a little room.
Yeah, I'm okay with the room. That's good.
That's
a few car links?
That's what defensive driving is.
You can't do a few car links because people will just jump in front of you all the time.
That's true.
You haven't driven in Michigan, apparently.
It just depends on where you are. It's defensive depending on the location. City, interstate, country, rural.
Yeah.
You just have to pick your situation.
See, my thing is,
stay safe.
I always expect people to be idiots.
Yes.
And I just drive the way I drive, but I'm always watching out for the idiots because I know it's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. But my whole thing was, like, when we were talking about it in the social chat, was there are people that are they're so cautious and so hesitant that they end up causing massive, not only backups, but they cause accidents.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, but that's not defensive driving. That's overly cautious and maybe too polite, Yeah. No, you go. No, you go. No, you go. No, that's bad. That's bad. And I feel like this conversation has run its course. What's next?
Well, wait a minute. I got one more thing to say, and that is this. My thing is, if I do see an idiot in my vicinity, one of the first things I try to do is get away from them. Like, I would look at somebody who would say they're defensive, and again, you're going to say this is different. Maybe this is the cautious hesitant. They will lag back from someone that's driving, weaving in and out of lanes or whatever. I want to get past that person, so I'm not in the path of the destruction they're about to cause. So there you go. That's my last thought. But since you want to move on to the next topic, we will. Now, what is that next topic? We don't know. We're just bantering. Derek, what's your next banter point? Although it looks like Bob has one. He raised his finger, so let's see what he's got.
I've got two things.
All right.
I think two major people have passed away this week that we're recording, and I think it should be mentioned. So a radio host that a lot of people don't know unless you're on the night shift, named Art Bell, who is a UFO conspiracy theorist. I mean, the guy has been on. He's been on, I don't know, 700 stations, been one of the top-ranked, top 10 nighttime radio hosts he was doing it for 25, 30 years until George Norrie took over. But Art Bell passed away in his home. They believe it's something to do with his lungs, considering he was a constant cigar smoker. But yeah, that's sad, man, and very sad.
Do you know how old he was?
I think 73.
Okay, that's how old the next guy that you're going to talk about was.
Yeah, so he was 73, 72. Sorry,
okay.
Art Bell was 72. But to me, I when I worked nights for those 13 years and I was in the truck all night, I would listen to that because there was nothing else. I mean, that was before. Realistically, that was before having anything good on your cell phone, before streaming. It was before. You have Bluetooth or whatever in radios. It was all before that. So the only music you had or anything you had was from terrestrial radio. See,
hey, callback,
Bob.
Yeah.
I'm there with you, Bob. When I was in the Air Force, I remember being in San Antonio from 2003 to 2006. Worked the night shift. You're sitting on a flight line in a truck all night. We were fortunate to have a station that had coast to coast.
Yep,
with Art Bell and George Norrie. That was some interesting listening for sure.
Yeah, so for me to kind of have him enjoy his show for 10, 12 years, 13 years, whatever, for him to pass away, to me it's sad. Just because, it's somebody, a voice a voice you've listened to for so long. So, that's that. But he's off in the atmosphere somewhere now, or whatever.
Maybe he got sucked up by a UFO. Okay,
that could have been.
The next guy, everybody, they're not going to know him by name, but if you saw this guy, you would know immediately who he is.
Yeah, which I'm trying to look up his age, but
he was 73. He was 73.
74, I believe.
Okay, he's 72, 73, 74.
Yeah, he was 74. Arlie Ermy.
He's the drill sergeant in every movie you've ever watched.
Yep, best known for Full Metal Jacket. Yep. That's kind of what put him on the map. Yeah, he passed away this week as well at the age of 74. His nickname was the Gunny.
Yep.
He was just in every movie you could imagine, that a-hole drill sergeant that just would scream and yell at you. That was him.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who he is, just look him up. R. Lee, and then it'll come up. Yeah, it's Ermy, but just look up R. Lee, and it'll pop up.
And I would recommend that you see the movie Saving Silverman that he's in with Jack Black and I forget the guy's name from The Wonders. From That Thing You Do. Gosh dang it, I always forget that guy's name. But anyway, and the guy from American Pie is in it as well. But it's a hilarious movie. Derek?
Yes. Yeah, there was something else he was recently in that I can't remember too, but go ahead, Derek.
Well, Full Metal Jacket, that was big for me because I'm former military myself. And the thing was, he was the drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket. It's a Stanley Kubrick film, came out in 1987. It's a great movie about the stark realities of Marine Corps basic training.
And if you haven't seen it,
and the Vietnam
explicit
War
content, so don't show your kids.
He was hired. He was actually hired on that film as a technical advisor because he really was a drill instructor in the Marine Corps during Vietnam. And so when he was trying to coach the actor on how to be mean, Stanley Kubrick said, maybe you should do it. And so he auditioned. He stood in place for 15 minutes while having tomatoes and cabbage and food hurled at him, and he yelled and screamed and yelled insults and expletives for 15 minutes without repeating a single one and without flinching and without breaking character. And they were like, you get the job.
I think this guy's good. Yeah, that's one of those things, like every time, and I know I've seen other like comedy movies and stuff where they say now you can't yell at people anymore like that or whatever, but that was like the good old days where you could just you could pick out the things wrong with the person's appearance, you could call them every name in the book, and that's what he did in Full Metal Jacket, man. He just rode that guy. It was fantastic.
But it's necessary. These are 18, 19-year-old kids who are about to go to war.
Yeah, you got to break them.
They have just like a civilian, hometown mindset. They need to be broken down and become team players. They need to become killers.
Yep.
I'm laughing
because I'm thinking of him yelling at people. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, what a story.
And I didn't watch this movie before I went into the military because I was going into the military and everyone's like, Full Metal Jacket, Full Metal Jacket. And I remember being in tech school and then we watched Full Metal Jacket and I was like, oh my goodness. I probably would have rethought the whole thing if I would have seen that first.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be that way these days.
No.
So there's PC. There's a big change. So two things. I'm just throwing stuff out here, guys, because it's the things that I've been seeing or watching or whatever. So I did watch a movie recently.
We need theme music when Bob watches a movie, like dun 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 dun. Go ahead.
So I just watched a movie recently this weekend called Father Figures with Owen Wilson and
it got bad
Ed
reviews. Was it good? It
wasn't really good.
Okay. Dang it.
No, it was rated 5.2 out of 10, 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. It wasn't a very good movie. So you had a few spots throughout the movie within the first hour, let's say, that were funny. I mean, you'd laugh at them.
Yeah.
Then after that, it just became boring. It just became not so funny anymore. And it just kind of dropped off. So
this would
I don't recommend that movie for
this
you guys.
would be incredible to actually have a bit in the show where Bob tells a movie that he's watched and then he gives the rating like he just did, like, hey, I do not recommend this movie. That'd be so great because we've made fun of him for so long about not watching movies. And now all of a sudden he's the guy who sees these movies before we do. So it's interesting.
I'm trying to,
you're stepping your game up, man.
Yeah, trying, guys. So one other thing, and then we'll talk about this, and you guys can move on to whatever you want. But since I've been watching Netflix and stuff lately as well, I have seen a trailer for a show that I haven't started watching yet. I don't know if you guys are into sci-fi or if you have any interest in this particular show, but Netflix is doing a new version of Lost in Space.
Yep. I've seen a lot of people talking about what they think of it. So let's hear. Have you watched any of it?
I've not watched any of it, but I'm interested in watching it. So what?
A lot of good returns that I've seen so far. Now, I've never been a big sci-fi guy, so I'm the wrong person to talk to about this. But the new version actually looks pretty good. They've put a lot of money and effort into the production of this, and I think it looks pretty good. That's just from my perspective. But I'm not a sci-fi guy.
I'm not much of a sci-fi guy. I know some stuff, but for some reason that one just piqued my interest. Like I said, I haven't started watching it yet, but I'm gonna get back to that and see if I can get caught up on it and kind of stay up on it and see how it is, so I can have some sort of opinion. But I did start watching this season 7 of Homeland, which I'm excited for that.
Have heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things about Homeland from a person that I listen to on a regular basis, and I'm going to leave my comments. I won't say what I think, but anyway,
it's a very political show,
and it's
100%.
And it's complete insanity. I'm just going to say that from what I've heard, it's like, yeah, okay,
but it's good. It's good.
Okay,
Derek, you have any interest in the Lost in Space or anything like that?
I do. I've never seen the original, and the only reference I have is "Danger, Will Robinson, danger." Yep. That's the only pop culture reference I know to Lost in Space. But I've seen the trailer once or twice. Looks interesting. I think my wife has seen it before, like the original. So maybe we'll check it out.
Maybe we won't.
We'll see. Maybe we will.
If not,
go ahead.
If not, there's probably another episode of Wazoo's Cake Boss or something you could watch.
The one that I think, Derek, you had to have watched this because of that, your desire to watch these shows where they make stuff like cakes and stuff, is it's basically, I don't know the name of it, but they make these things and they don't turn. It's like when you are on Pinterest and you find these things and you try to remake them, and it does not turn out anything like it was supposed to. It's an original Netflix show. Do you remember the name
Nailed
of
it?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's called Nailed It.
And it's so
basically,
bad.
Yeah. It's based on basically you've seen memes like Pinterest fails when you look on Pinterest or something and they have these elaborately decorated cakes or desserts or whatever, and then somebody tries to
do it for their kid for his birthday, and it's terrible.
It's horrible. It's basically that.
Yeah.
It's like a 6-episode series. Me and my wife watched it, and it was funny. It was pretty neat. It was only like 6 episodes, so we kind of got through that pretty quick. But it was funny and worth watching. Yeah, I remember you sending me the message like, "This would be right up your alley, Derek."
And you were like, "Watched it."
Already watched it.
Did it? Hey, by the way, I don't know how much you guys are caught up on like Danny and Emma Black and Benon's new stuff on YouTube, but my wife, has made massive amounts of play in their videos. Emma just loves that, I think. Because like in the videos a couple times, you just hear somebody in the background, my wife, and stuff like that. And they did that. They went to go see Benon down in Culburra Beach in Australia. And they were on the beach. And I think they all were like, my wife. So, dude, you're famous. In Australia, you are famous, and your catchphrase that you took from another movie is now famous again. How do you feel about that?
I really like that. And last night, Danny and Emma did a live stream. It was like 2:30 in the morning. They were driving.
Were you awake?
I was awake and I saw it and I caught like the last 15 minutes and they sang.
Wow.
They were like, if we get 25 likes, we're going to pull over and I'll pull out my mandolin and I'll sing. And he did. It was fun.
Wow.
That's awesome.
They put up a story. Speaking of, Emma put this story up on Facebook and I freaked. I already have major fears of the cruise ships. And one of the ships that Danny goes out on, a lady fell overboard in the middle of nowhere. Fell over the edge. Deed. Couldn't find her. And I was just like, oh my gosh. That, I'm bringing the show down again, but that freaked me out, dude. How do you fall over the edge?
People are like, I'm the king of the world. And you can't do that.
They said that she felt sick and she was puking over the rail. But I got to believe, don't you think those rails are at least chest high? How are you falling over the edge?
Look, you got to, I don't know. Look,
if you're going to puke terrible on a cruise ship, just puke on the cruise ship. Do not puke over the edge. Just puke. Puke on the deck. Don't get near the rails.
It's heartbreaking. I hate to hear stuff like that.
It's terrible. And she was there with her wife and kids and her husband. Like, this is what I read. There's who knows the real story, but he tried to grab her on her way over and he didn't. And that was it. Yeah. Okay. Man, so crazy. Speaking of TV shows, I binge watched this show called Nobodies. Nobody's ever heard of it, but I binge watched it this weekend. And it's Melissa McCarthy and her husband, Ben. His name is not McCarthy. He has his own last name that she did not take. But they produced this show. It was originally on TV Land, and now it's on Paramount Network. And it's people that were part of the Groundlings, which is a famous improv group in Los Angeles. You would know tons of people from the Groundlings. But anyway, it's three of the people that were from the Groundlings who are writers, and they just show it's a comedy, and they just kind of follow them trying to make it in Hollywood as writers, and it's very funny. But I just caught on to this thing because of my experience of doing improv and stuff like that. I got excited about it, and I watched it, and it was pretty good. But no one's going to watch it. I guarantee nobody else will like it. I'm surprised that it had 2 seasons so far.
You're saying that nobody is going to watch Nobodies?
But it's got all these people. It has all these people that you totally would know. They're all from the Groundlings. Like Kristen Bell didn't go to the Groundlings, I don't think, but Kristen Bell was on there. Melissa McCarthy's on it, obviously, a few times. Kristen Wiig. I'm not gonna know everybody's name. I'm just picturing all these faces. I'm bad at names. Anyway,
I get it.
Thanks, Derek.
I get it.
But listen, anyway, let's wrap this up. And when we come back, we're going to share with you guys some information, as we do usually, about what's coming up in the month of May in music history. We're going to share some notes on that. And then we're going to jump into a very exciting topic. Not exciting. Is that the wrong word for it?
Yeah.
How about interesting?
Interesting and sad and bizarre. But we'll talk about it after we hook up with you again on music history for the month of May, coming up right after this. Today's show is brought to you by GoDaddy. Buy your own domain name, build your site, or use any of GoDaddy's business tools and save 30%. Just go to trygodaddy.com/HWT. That's trygodaddy.com/HWT. Hey everybody, we are back, and we're getting ready to share some information about the month of May, which is right around the corner, in music history. Again, see, again, we're gonna get this. It's gonna happen. Yep, we're gonna keep stepping up the game. We're gonna get a little intros for all these things. All right.
Pow, music history.
Yes. All right.
No, wait. Pause.
What?
We won't, Derek. Scott and I will. And then you'll be like, "Oh, you guys did it. Cool."
Exactly. I'm not hiding anything.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I do nothing technical for the show.
It's okay. You provide a needed, I don't know what to call it, to the show. You're part of the show. Your
point of view.
Yeah, your point of view, and the My Wife thing's a big hit.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody else created it, but you've brought it back.
I can rip things off like no one's business.
Oh, yeah.
We all can, but I mean,
but Derek's the expert at it.
The thing that I really thought when Derek first started doing the My Wife, I thought, man, that's so old. Like nobody's gonna like that, and it has taken off. Maybe in Australia they just didn't get on the My Wife train. Anyway,
huge in Australia. What can I say?
He's huge in Australia. Okay, so let's get this party started. I got one right away. May 1st in 1967, Elvis married Priscilla. That's 1967. Poor Elvis.
Wow.
He's gone. Is Priscilla alive still?
I don't know.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
I wonder if she's alive.
She's alive still.
Is she?
I mean, yeah, I don't think she's dead.
Okay. I don't know, man, because now it's at the point where she's just ask Siri.
Okay, Google.
Oh, he Googled.
Is Priscilla Presley still alive?
I like the way he said it. That's the best part. Yeah, what did Google say?
It's bringing up like the Wikipedia page. She's still alive.
Okay, how old is she?
She was born in 1945.
Oh, geez.
So that makes her 72.
Okay, so she's close. Listen, see, that's why I said she could be dropping any moment. You never know.
That's a scary age this week.
Yeah.
It's between 72 and 74.
Yeah. All right. So, Bob, you got one for us?
Yeah, I've got May 2nd, 1980. Pink Floyd's The Wall was banned by the South African government. Which is just crazy.
Do you know why?
I do know why. That's what I was looking up on the break. Because I was going to say African American, but they're not.
They're just African.
Young black children actually adopted that as their theme song.
Okay.
So
against apartheid.
So that's basically showing as a rebellion to their government. So they banned it so the kids would no longer have a theme song to rebel on, which is just stupid. Crazy.
Like, why did they think that would work? That's dumb. Derek, what do you got?
How about let's go back the day before, the same day that Elvis married Priscilla, but a few years later, Elton John became the first pop music star to perform in Israel.
Whoa!
Interesting.
That's for real the first? In what year was it?
1979.
Okay. That's
the year I was born.
Good grief. It took that long for Israel to have a pop star in there?
It doesn't even say like first American pop star, just like first pop star. And he's not even American. He's not even American.
No, he's a knight. He's like Sir John, dude.
He's from England. I'm like, yeah, Elton John is not American.
All right.
But he was the first pop star to go to Israel.
To Israel. Okay. May 7th. I'm trying to speed this up because we're taking too long already. May 7th, 1824. Huh? The first rock and roll superstar, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, was performed for the first time May 7th, 1824. Rock Me Amadeus.
That's not the right symphony.
Probably not. But Bob, what do you got?
So let's go one day earlier than that. May 6th.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have the year. You have that. What year was it? Because I don't have it on
Tell
here.
me what it is. I don't know what you're talking about.
May 6, 1977, Led Zeppelin set a audience attendance record for a single concert at 76,229.
It was 70-something, and I can't remember. Pontiac, Michigan.
There you go.
I think it was 77 or 79, one of the two. Gosh dang it. You stole that one from me because it's Michigan.
I didn't steal it from you. I wanted to surprise you. But that record's been broken.
Okay.
But they held the record at that time.
Okay, so. Derek, what do you got?
Oh, what do I got? How about in May 13th, Stevie Wonder was born in 1950. If anybody knows Stevie Wonder, he's the world's youngest person to have like a number one hit on the Billboard Hot 100. He was like a kid. He was a kid when he had it.
I thought Michael Jackson was like really young when they had stuff. So Stevie Wonder was younger?
Stevie Wonder was the youngest. And I didn't even read that off the internet website you told me to read from. I already knew that.
All right. May 8th, the Beatles in 1970. What did they do? Let It Be. That was it. That was the end of the road for the Beatles right there. Let It Be, May 8th. Derek, give us another one.
Let's go back to Elton John, and we'll go a little bit later in the month. May 21st. Also my brother's birthday. Brandon's.
Happy birthday, Brandon. Hope to have you on the show someday.
All right, remember? Yeah, we'll get him one day. One day. Remember how, like, in 1979, he was the first person to be in Israel?
Yeah, we do.
Well, now, in 75, he was the first pop star to play in the USSR.
Back in the USSR.
So he's like a groundbreaker.
Yeah, he is. It's amazing. Bob,
busting down walls.
Bob, what do you got?
My last one here is May 14th, 1998. Very sad. Frank Sinatra died in L.A.
That's
my mom's birthday.
He stole this one from me, too, by the way. I had it written down.
You guys were jibber-jabbering back and forth, and we just claim them, man, and I claimed them because guys were just blah, blah, blah.
Right. That's the concept of the show, Bob. Jibber-jabbering back and forth.
Right.
The name of the show is called Hey, We're Talking.
It was before we even got on air.
Okay. And to wrap it up, here we go. May 25th, 1994. I started out with Elvis, Mary and Priscilla. In 1994, May 25th of 1994, this sham of a wedding took place. Lisa Marie Presley and Michael Jackson got married. And then they kissed each other on the MTV Movie Awards, and it was the worst kiss ever recorded on television in history. It was a farce. Do you think he actually loved her? Do you think they...
I don't know. They have a daughter together, though.
Did they consummate? They made a baby?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
I think Michael Jackson was
terrifying.
Just misunderstood. He had
Is that what it was?
He had a strange life, all right?
He did. He did. A strange life. That's like the understatement of the decade.
He did not have a normal childhood.
No, he didn't.
He did not have a normal youth.
No, His
Jackson early adulthood was wild.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I mean, it used to be, Michael Jackson, before he died, there was a time where people hated on him.
Yeah.
But now it's looking like
king of pop, though, dude.
Now it's looking like, man, what a tragedy.
Yeah. Was even though people might have hated on him, it still was a tragedy. All right. Well, that is May Music History Month. We're getting you ready so that you can dazzle your friends at the water cooler or at your favorite coffee shop or when you're having a smoke with some buddies. Now you've got some ammunition to go in there with and tell them about Lisa Marie Presley and Michael Jackson or the Stevie Wonder thing about him being the youngest or whatever.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Don't forget that, folks.
I mean, it is, but man, weak sauce. Come on, May. Get it together and get us some better music history.
Today's show is brought to you by Gamefly.com. Go to GameFlyOffer.com/HWT today. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's funny that we did May's Music History Month because now we're going to talk about let's put it this way. Most of the people are musicians, but I think Bob's got some people that are just flat out celebrities also. But we're going to talk about the members of the 27 Club. Derek, can you tell everybody what the 27 Club is?
The 27 Club is generally considered to be a group of musicians, very prominent musicians, who died prematurely at the age of 27.
Which is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
If there's this many.
Now, there are a few people, there are like a few of them that are like the well-known superstars, but if you actually look at like these lists, there is like a ton of them, many more like minor, less well-known people, but the 27 Club is huge. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. So we're going to roll through these and, as usual, we'll give our thoughts and stuff like that. But Bob's got some some extra information he's going to share. So we're excited. We don't even know what he's going to talk about, but he has some stuff. And there's one thing that he kind of touched on a little bit that we're excited about. So I want to try and get to that. So we won't spend tons of time on each person, but let's just start it off. We talked about this before on one of our music history months, because actually it was last month in April. We talked about Kurt Cobain dying at 27 years old, April 8th, 1994. He shot himself. No thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Everybody was like,
I was having a beer. Yes, one of the more contemporary members, probably one of the most well known in
our generation.
In our generation, there is one that was more recent than him.
You want to say who it is? Do you know when it was? Because I know who you're going to say. She's next.
Yeah, I'm going to say Amy Winehouse.
Oh, you're looking at it, so you know when it was.
Yeah, it happened in 2011. She died of alcohol poisoning, and there is like a documentary about her life, and it really paints her in a little bit more sympathetic light than what I remember seeing her portrayed as in the media. She was just kind of portrayed as a wild child, as someone who was
I
just.
mean, her most famous song was "Rehab." Trying to make me go to rehab, and I say no.
But it's all a little bit more complicated than we like to make it. We want to make it simple, like these guys were just reckless.
No, she's
druggies.
A tortured soul, man.
Yeah,
she lived in the public eye, and she had a drug addiction and an alcohol addiction. It was terrible,
and nobody knew how to deal with it with her. Directly with her.
And she talks about her dad in that song. She
dude, don't
and it
make
was
me
like,
sad.
And it was kind of like he was kind of the one that was pushing her into the take more gigs, take more shows, do more, instead of pulling her back and saying,
protecting her. Yeah,
you need to take care of yourself, Amy. So I watched that documentary a few months ago, and it really kind of opened my eyes, not just to Amy Winehouse, but to all the other members of the 27 Club that we're going to look at. It's not so much like you could say like, get your act together, people, but it's tough being in the public eye, being a musician, being someone who's famous. You have so much extra pressure, so much extra demands, responsibilities, and expectations placed on you. It shouldn't be something that a young person needs to bear, but they do. And some people come out great, and some people can't handle it. And it's not, and it's hard to say this is your fault, because they weren't equipped with the skills. I'm sorry it's a tough subject, but
it is a tough subject.
I don't think any of us are accusing them of it being their fault, except for when you shoot yourself in the head. That's kind of your fault.
Well, and let me touch on that real quick. And that's part of the conspiracy theorists. They believe that Cobain's death was framed. There's been several documentaries about it, focusing on his death. If you guys remember the time when he did die, all the evidence was gathered and lost and misplaced, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened with that that raised a lot of questions, and that's where this whole conspiracy theory came from, that said, he believes that people believe that Courtney Love was involved in it. She was there, she made that happen. And I mean, there was so much going on, but I mean, if you look through a lot of Kurt Cobain's music, if you look at a lot of the interviews, he was dealing with inner demons. He was dealing with depression. He was dealing with substance and alcohol abuse and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, that's really what led to his demise.
And he had a lot of didn't he have stomach problems? He had a lot of pain in his stomach, was one of the things people talked about too, is he dealt with this thing for a very long time in his life where he had a lot of pain problems.
That I don't know about, but
okay.
I don't doubt it.
So, Bob, you're going to know about this one for sure. I just know it. Jimi Hendrix, September 18th, 1970. He took 9 prescription sleeping pills, and they just ruled it asphyxiation because he died choking on his own vomit.
Well, if you remember, that was a lot like what happened to Prince. That's a lot what happened to Michael Jackson. Different combinations of drugs and alcohol and things of that nature, and it kills people. I mean, that's really what it is. Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest guitar players who had a very short career, wasn't doing it for a super long amount of time, but he was amazing, and his songs still hold up to everything. His performance at Woodstock, if you go back and watch the original performance, it was absolutely amazing. Now, there were rumors with that he always wore the headband, that at Woodstock he had hits of acid inside the headband, and he was just all high when he was doing it, but he was consistent with it. So there was something with that, so it wasn't always just when he was high. But yeah, to take a bunch of pills and you pass out, and then your body wants to reject those pills, and then you're laying in a certain way to where your body's not going to physically move because the medication, and you choke on your own vomit and die. I mean, that's it's crazy.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix, definitely a fantastic musician. And even my son, who's pretty hip to music, even old music, like Stevie Wonder is my son's favorite artist of all time. Hadn't really listened to much of Jimi Hendrix. And I remember playing a few years ago for my son, like a Jimi Hendrix song, and just my son was just like, this is some amazing guitar work. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like 40, 50 years old. This is Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. And he's like, whoa. So, yeah.
Well, two of the people that are actually just a year apart, a little over, well, a little less than a year apart, actually, Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison, they both died of heroin overdoses. Yep. Morrison died in 1971 and Janis Joplin in 1970.
Yeah, Janis Joplin like 2 weeks after Jimi Hendrix, apparently.
Yeah, let me check.
Jimi Hendrix died on September 18th.
Yeah.
And Janis died on October 4th.
Not even a month. That is crazy.
Yeah, she died on my birthday.
Oh, sorry, Bob.
She was a huge influence on my sister-in-law, Alyssa, who's married to Brandon. If y'all don't know, Alyssa herself is a fantastic musician, Broadway actress as well.
Wow.
And she can sing the crap out of some Janis Joplin tunes. Such a great voice, and a huge influence on my sister-in-law. And Janis Joplin's legacy, a little bit more closer to me and my family than maybe some people are like, but Janis Joplin was pretty big.
Yeah. I love everyone we've spoke of so far. I've really enjoyed their music. Even Amy Winehouse, I thought she had great talent. I thought she was. I mean, if she would have just stuck with it, man, she could have been so much more. But unfortunately, substance abuse and all that stuff got her. So
yeah. And this one is way, way back. But if you haven't heard this guy, I think you'd be surprised. You probably have, and you just didn't know it. Robert Johnson. He's a blues singer and musician, and he died of strychnine poisoning in 1938 after receiving whiskey that was tampered with in Mississippi. So that is insane. Again, some of these things, you just hear these things, and you're like, oh my gosh.
And he was the one that sold his soul to the devil for his musical talent, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Brian Jones, he was one of the original members of the Rolling Stones, says here on this thing that he was overshadowed by Keith Richards and Mick Jagger, and then he developed a drug problem. And it said he died on July 3rd of 1969, found at the bottom of his pool. And the cause of death, according to the authorities, was death by misadventure. So there you go.
That would I would love to be labeled with that for my death, by misadventured. I don't know what that means, but
well, the other big one, the final big name on this list, is one that everybody's probably heard of. He was the lead singer of The Doors. Considered to be probably
we said him.
No, we did not.
We touched on it, but we didn't really go through it much.
Yeah,
I said he died right after Janis Joplin. 1971. But that's okay. Go ahead, heroin.
Well,
overdose.
you just mentioned it, but we kind of glazed over him. But he was the lead singer of the Doors, pretty much considered to be the prototypical rock star. You know, the whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of guy, Jim Morrison. And it said his death was by heart failure, but I mean, let's be honest, right? He was probably into
many people believe it was a heroin overdose and alcohol and stuff like that. And the one thing that if you've ever seen some interviews about Jim Morrison's concerts or the Doors concerts, that it would either be the best show you've ever seen or the worst mess you've ever seen. It just depended on how Jim was that night. So it just, you didn't know what kind of show you were going to get, but you had to be there to witness it and go through the whole process of seeing a Doors show. So, I would love to have seen them because I am a huge Doors fan and I love his poetry CDs and all that stuff as well, which most people think I'm crazy for, but I think it's cool stuff. So, Derek, you did mention it's probably one of the biggest names, but here's another big name to me, which is Ron Pigpen McKernan from the Grateful Dead. He died in 1973 of internal hemorrhaging caused by many years of excessive drinking, which is just crazy. I don't know how that happens. He was one of the founding members of Grateful Dead.
All right, I'm going to round it out with this one, and then we're going to jump into Bob's other topic here. There's a band called Big Star. If you've never heard Big Star, you need to go listen to them. Chris Bell was the frontman of the power pop band Big Star. He died in a car crash by running into a wooden pole on the early morning of December 27th, 1978. So check out Big Star if you get a chance. There's a bunch of other people on here. We just touched on probably the well-known people. But Bob, what is the other thing you mentioned to us that you wanted to talk about?
I guess it would be considered like the 27 Club watch list.
Okay.
So
who you got?
I want to mention a few people and their ages and see.
Should we lay odds on this and be really like morbid?
I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But there's a few people here that are on this list that they're getting close to 27, and I just want to see what you guys think if they're gonna make it beyond that. So
you want us to do like a Roman Emperor thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah.
So the good news is Taylor Swift just she's 28 now.
She's good.
So she's
good.
She in the clear. Justin Bieber, who is currently 24 years old, his reckless lifestyle, all sorts of trouble.
No, he's going to make it. He's going to make it.
Okay.
Bieber's going to make it. He goes to church now. He's going to make it. He's good.
All right. Well, let's keep this going then. Miley Cyrus is currently 25 years old.
Down the drain. If she doesn't die, I'll be very surprised.
I think she'll make it. I'm probably not gonna. I would feel terrible.
You're gonna say everyone's gonna make it.
You guys don't have to say anybody's gonna make it or not. But these
I am. That's the fun part. I'm doing it.
These are people on the watch list. Well, one I expected to be on the 27 Club list that actually passed through it. Not a musician, but Lindsay Lohan. She was on that downhill slide.
How old is she?
She's 30.
She's in her 30s at least.
She's 31 now, but you could see that she was trending in that direction. And
she was like dancing with the Grim Reaper.
And it was
sure.
right when she was around 27 is when she was at her worst. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, here's another one. Demi Lovato is 25 years old.
She'll make it.
She seems to have a pretty good head on her shoulders. Ed Sheeran is 23.
Ed Sheeran's good. He's fine.
Yeah. Sheeran is good. He seems
Ed Sheeran. It's not Shireen. It's Ed Sheeran.
Brandon went on tour with that guy. He says,
and he just got married. He's happy.
He says he's good.
Yeah.
Adele is 26. I mean, if she has another album like she did last time, which was very depressing,
I think she'll be fine.
Okay.
She's not too crazy. I think she's going to be okay.
One person that is dead that just got past the 27 was the former lead singer of Sublime, Bradley James Noel.
That was a long time ago, dude.
He actually died at 28 years old.
So he's just outside the cutoff.
Yeah, that was another heroin overdose. And this is my final one. To me, this person is on the watch list.
Oh, no.
I don't even know what they'll make it to.
Okay.
Danielle Brigoli.
Who is that?
Is that the Cash Me Outside girl?
Oh!
Yeah.
There's a good chance she might be 6 feet under.
She's currently 15 years old.
Oh, dude, that's so sad.
So
I can't believe I just said she's going to die and she's 15.
If she doesn't turn that ship around, I mean, she's rapping now. She's got music videos, all kinds of stuff.
There was a rumor that they were going to try and get her to be in a porno, which you can't do because she's 15, but...
Yeah, there's always those rumors with young off the wall ladies, and
dude, but that is terrible. That Cash Me Outside. What is wrong with her parents?
What probably happened is with the porn thing, somebody from another country where it's legal probably said, "Hey, you come over here. We could, we'd pay you to be in it."
Gosh,
and that's
awful.
That's the kind of stuff that happens.
I hope she turns that around. I hope she's
got 12 years.
I hope she takes
a lot of time to screw it up.
I hope she takes a little time and looks at her body of work and goes, I don't like this.
She became famous from being a total disaster.
Yes, on Maury Povich. Yeah. Was it Maury? No, it was
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. Hey, they all run together. Let's be real. Dr. Phil's probably the best out of all of them, but Maury Povich has got to be the bottom, don't you think?
I don't know if I'm necessarily the best. But I am a doctor. My name's Phil. So just so you guys know, just for the record.
That was a great Dr. Phil impression, by the way.
James Dean, he died at age 24. Just throwing that out there.
You're tearing me apart!
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, let's wrap up the show before Bob makes me say another teenager is going to die. Here's a couple of things I want to remind you guys of. First of all, Chris Bean has been on the show, and he's been nice enough we've all tried his coffee, and we love it, and so we're just going to keep talking about it. If you guys go to his website, numacoffee.com, let me make sure that's the exact, because I always think I'm doing it wrong. It's PNEUMA coffee.com, Numa Coffee. It's in the bucket down below. You can click on that. And if you guys put an HWT into like the coupon code, you get what is it, a 10% or is it a 20? I can't remember.
20% off.
20% off your order. Which is fantastic. I mean, that is just unbelievable.
Yep.
So go check them out. And that's just because we like Chris and we like his coffee. I just had some of the Peaberry coffee today in a French press. It was fantastic. And also this weekend, I forgot to mention, this was the one I really wanted to say, and so I'm going to say it right now. The decaf, the Columbia decaf, is fantastic.
So I have it, but I haven't drank it yet.
It does not taste like decaf coffee.
I bought it. I haven't drank it yet, but his Dominican, I think it's Ocho Rio or something like that. Man, that thing is so good. I've been doing that in a French press and pour over. That is such a good coffee. That's like one of my favorites right now. So
yeah,
it's good stuff.
So go to numacoffee.com. Order some coffee, put in HWT in the coupon code, get 20% off. And I also want to mention, we are going to do this, but I want to get people to get over to Facebook, follow us on Facebook, like our page, be a part of it. We're going to start doing live broadcasts from Facebook. That's going to happen. So if you want to be a part of that, get over to Facebook, join in. And also...
Let's go live now.
We could.
For like a minute.
Let's do this too. If you guys don't follow us on YouTube already, do that, because there's a good chance we may do live on YouTube as well.
Oh yeah.
And we would want you guys to be a part of that as well. And I think the live stuff that we're going to do, it'll be fun. I mean, Derek's done them. I've been part of when he's just sitting there having a smoke and talking to people. It's fun. We'll do the same thing. We might not be smoking. We might be smoking. Who knows? But we'll be answering questions and just kind of hanging out with you guys. It's a fun time. So get over to Facebook and YouTube and follow us. And then the last thing is, you can get this show on every single stinking podcast app with maybe the exception of one. I don't even know if there is one, but there might be one out there. Get this podcast, download it, tell your friends about it, keep it up. You guys have been doing such a great job. We just continue to see growth, and it's exciting, and we're so thankful that we have the type of fans that we do, the people that listen to this show. I hate even to say fans because it's just like cool people. They're not fans. They're just part of the show. So we appreciate you. On that note, make sure that you continue to be the awesome people that you are. And we will see you next Wednesday. Don't forget, that's what we're doing now. 1 hour shows once a week on Wednesday. Get on a podcast app, subscribe so that you get that thing as soon as it comes off the presses, which is usually around like 2 in the morning or something crazy. Just in time for Kevin Twyford to listen to it on his way to work. All right, guys, we love you. Any last goodbyes you guys want to say bye to? Say goodbye.
Bye, people. We love you. And bye.
Thanks.
Bob has nothing to say. Oh, you do? Go ahead.
I was just going to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, man. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.